Hi there, Meekachii here. Today I want to do a video on how much I hate when. And I know a lot of people hate it right now, but I had my own little story as to what happened to me, and I wanted to share that with all of you guys so that hopefully this would never happen to you. First off, I want to apologize. My voice, I know, is terrible. I've been sick for a week, which is why I haven't come out with any more videos. I got my trusty tea here to help me out. Also, I probably should have done this video when my hair is looking better. I got it done yesterday and it's a terrible yellowy color when it's supposed to be a gray white. This isn't really about hair color though, sort of. It kind of is. But it's mostly about the product and why no one should use it. I'm going to start off by saying I was a huge lover of Wen. I bought it every single month. I always bought the newest flavors, scents when they came out. I literally would buy a huge thing like this big every single month. And I would use it all. I used it at least once a day because I'm a psycho that washes my hair every single day. Yeah, I loved it and I would preach it to everyone. I would always, there was not a week that went by that I didn't tell someone how amazing it was and they should use it. Another backstory, or another part of my backstory, is that I had really long hair. I think it was down to my elbows-ish. It did not used to be as blonde as it is now, although, like I said, my hair is usually very white. But disaster. I mean, I loved Wen so much I even wore it at my wedding. Or wore it at my wedding? I used it the day of my wedding. I mean, I'm just lucky that this didn't happen to me before that. So about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, I went to my hair salon. Nothing had changed. I had been using Wen forever now. I mean, I think I was up to 2 years at that point that I had been using it. But like I said, I used to change the scents that I used all the time. So I would use different formulas of it, and they're all different. Like, what's in them is all completely different. The one I was using at the time was I think it was called bamboo green tea. So, I mean, I guess that's the only thing that had changed in my hair regimen. I had the same water, no water changes. I did not have well water. I mean, my hairdresser asked me all of these questions afterward. But basically, there's no reason that this should have happened to me because nothing changed. I had been going to the same hairdresser forever. She used the same lightener that she always did. I had been having my hair bleached for years. I mean, I've been bleaching my hair since high school, so, I mean, that's never happened to me before. We're going through my regular routine, putting the bleach all over, like I always do, put the cap on, and next thing I know, like, she's like, okay, we're gonna check on the color. Oh, it's a little, you know, it's almost there. You need a few more minutes. I'm gonna go wring out this person and then we'll wash you out. It had gone the full, like, 20-30 minutes on my head without anything happening. But the second she lifted it to check the color and put the cap back down, within, I want to say, 10 seconds, I started feeling like a heat on my head. Sorry, the sniffling. It got overbearingly hot, and I was like, I touched it with my hands, and I was like, oh my god, it's burning. And I stood up, and I'm like, ow. I'm like, someone needs to help me, because this is really hot. And my hairdresser's like, okay, well, I'll be over there. I'm like, no, like, really, it's super hot. Like, you need to get this off of my head. And I went over to the sink, and I, like, sat down without waiting for anyone, and one of the girls came rushing over to me, and she took the cap off of my hair, and this literal mushroom cloud of smoke came off of my head, and I could see it above me, and they're just sitting there like, oh my god, what the hell happened? It was like a nightmare. They washed my hair, they conditioned it, they put a deep conditioner in it, they tried everything they could to revive it. They didn't really know how bad the damage was at that point, but then I sat down and she went to comb out my hair and it was just falling out in pieces. And she eventually got it to comb all the way through, and we just looked at each other and said, oh my god, like, we have to cut it a little bit at least because it's just a disaster. So they cut it, I want to say like 3 inches at the time, maybe a little more, but I mean, nothing significant because, like I said, my hair was so long that like people looking at me probably wouldn't even have noticed that I cut it. And they started asking me, like, what have you been doing? Like, what did you change in your hair regimen? And I was like, nothing. I've been using Wen for years and not thinking, when is when. And yeah, I just bought different ones all the time and it didn't matter. But they looked up the particular one that I had been using at the time, and it alone, I think I counted, had 7 citrus products in it. According to them, the second they saw that, they were like freaking out because citrus is terrible for your hair, and under no circumstances are you supposed to have any sort of citrus product in your hair and bleach it or dye it, color it at the same time because it causes a chemical reaction. Um, and like I said, nothing else had changed in my regimen. No, nothing. I mean, I literally had, like I said, been going to the same hairdresser forever, same lightener, same everything, and nothing changed. Except that I had been using that bamboo green tea Wen product. And I used to use the Wen as directed on the back of the bottle. Um, 1,000,000 pumps, so you spend a ton of money and use it all through your hair once, rinse and repeat type deal. And I did it like you were supposed to. And I was like, probably, I don't even want to tell my husband how much I used to spend on Wen because he would probably kill me. But I used it like you were supposed to because I loved it so much and I thought it was the best thing ever. According to things that I've read after the fact, and according to what those hairdressers told me, Wen does not actually have a cleanser in it. So it never washes out of your hair. You literally just keep piling it on, and just basically it's just like a sticky conditioner. It never leaves, unless you use a shampoo or something to strip it out of your hair. It's just going to build up on your hair forever. I think I did not have any reactions prior to this because I did cheat on my Wen, and I used, like I said, I have white or light hair usually, so I use purple shampoo a lot, and I use other shampoos and conditioners sometimes. So I think because I was using other products on it too, it was kind of getting rid of some of the Wen, and it wasn't building up as much as, people that had been using Wen for, that exclusively for a long period of time. And I don't think I had that level of buildup because I use purple shampoo at least, like, I'm going to say 3-4 times a week, probably way more than I should. But I think that was the reason it hadn't happened to me sooner. And also because I used the bamboo one. Now, not every Wen product has a lot of citrus in it. I've researched it since, and almost all of the other ones that I've ever tried don't have that much citrus. But that particular one does. So, I'm using Wen all the time. It's building this citrus product up onto my hair. It's never getting washed out. So now I have all this citrus sitting in my hair, and then I go to use a lightener and it causes a chemical reaction. And it burned my hair. So 3 days go by and I'm trying to save what little hair I can. It had gotten to the point where I would get about this much through my hair with a brush and it would just stop and I couldn't comb it. And the only time I could comb it or brush it at all was when I had it wet, like soaking wet and conditioner put into it. All of this, like right here, all around my head was about this much of just like matted mess. And it just looked like a huge dreadlock when it was dry, and I had to like put it up into a bun, and because I couldn't wear it any other way because it was just a big mess. And I think after 3 days I had decided that it all had to get chopped off. Like there's nothing I could do to save it. So I contacted my hairdresser, and we had made an appointment. I think I had to go like that for like a week before they could actually cut it, and it ended up being about 2 inches shorter than it is now, but it still didn't cover all of the damage. Like, I literally had to get it trimmed probably 4 times before all of the damage was trimmed out of my hair. Now all of it's gone. I just haven't decided if I want to go long again yet or not after all that nonsense, but I mean, it's all gone now. It did take at least, 2 to 3 months to get rid of all the damage. I want to say at least 3 months, maybe more. Now, that being said, just because not all Wen products have that level of citrus doesn't mean you should use them. I also find it funny how anytime you see Chaz Dean on infomercials or QVC or what have you, and he's talking about his Wen, he slips in there and he mentions how, oh, this lady doesn't have to lighten her hair anymore, and she never gets it highlighted with bleach anymore, and it makes you think, like, well, duh, because look at what happens when you do. I almost feel like he knew that this type of thing would happen, and then it doesn't wash out of your hair and then causes chemical reactions, but, he's trying to sell his product and whatever. Now that, I mean, they all don't have that much citrus in them, so it's not going to all cause that bad chemical reaction with your hair. The fact that none of them have cleansers, and they call them a cleansing conditioner, they don't have cleansers in them. Nothing in them cleans your hair, really. They're fantastic conditioners, but that's it, and they don't clean your hair. My hairdressers also sat me down and told me, like, oh, you didn't know that he has a class action lawsuit against him right now? And I was like, no. Like, this was before, like, I had seen it on TV and all of that stuff, or on the news, and I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And this is a number I'm pulling off the top of my head, but I remember them saying like 40,000 women have reported hair loss from Wen. And I think at the moment around 200 of them are in the class action lawsuit, because it deposits everything onto your hair, and if you're using exclusively Wen, it clogs your hair, it clogs your cuticles, and your hair literally falls out. I mean, if you Google or whatever, go online and look at these pictures of women that have been using Wen, and their hair gets clogged to the point where it falls out, they look like they're like 80 and balding. Like, they literally have chunks of hair missing. So those are 2 reasons why you should never use Wen. I never recommend it anymore. I have tried my hardest to go back and tell everyone that I had recommended it to not use it, including my mom and, people I work with and, people that I see all the time. I feel terrible because I don't want anything to happen to them on the same lines that happened to me. But I figured I would let this all out there for you guys, and hopefully you take my advice and don't use it, because it will eventually ruin your hair. I mean, you might be delaying the inevitable by using shampoo and other stuff with it, but it is just terrible, and it should never be used by anyone. And that's my story. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something, or I hope it helped you out. Feel free to subscribe if you liked the video, or like the video if you liked the video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. So, is it on? Hi there, Meekachii here.